Good morning and welcome to Release to Results, the A Course in Miracles workbook series. Today we are going to be releasing around our holiness and its effect on the world. And this morning we're releasing on identities and assumptions about ourselves in our Release to Results group. And this goes so well with that. If we're identified as holy, as identified with God, well, and that's pretty unlimited. That's a pretty expanded identity and assumption. And this holiness envelops everything we see. What we see, what we're holding, then affects the world. Affects the world. I can't see that but which I am. So when we release up to this state of holiness, we are releasing the whole world up to the state of holiness. And whether that seems true or not, could you allow whatever happens for you to come up, anything that comes up at all, and just be in a state of releasing, allowing this energy to move, come up and release, let go, surrender, and just see what these ideas do for you when you're releasing the resistance to these ideas, when you're allowing them to be what you are. You never have to. This is always optional. You are free to accept or deny anything that is suggested in the Course in Miracles workbook. Though, could you just check it out and see what's there for you? How will your identity shift when you release some of these illusions about yourself and the world? Let's begin. Lesson 36. My holiness envelops everything I see. Could you allow yourself to just be with this idea for a moment? My holiness envelops everything I see. And could you just take a moment to bring up anything that's saying you're not holiness? Any denial, any identity, any assumption about yourself, which is other than holy. And could you allow it up? Just for now. And could you release? Would you release? Forgiving yourself. When could you release? And return to innocence. Forgiven. My holiness envelops everything I see. Could you allow yourself to just be with that idea of my holiness enveloping everything I see? And if there is any sense still that you might be guilty or have done wrong, anywhere you've not forgiven yourself, could you just take that thought and go behind it? Notice any energy. Could you feel it for but a moment? Just takes a moment of allowing this illusion to come up, to release it. Could you release and forgive yourself? Resume innocence. When could you release this energy and resume innocence? Forgiven. and just allowing that innocence, that holiness to spread, noticing anything other than that, allowing it up, releasing it. Lesson 37, my holiness blesses the world. This holiness does not bless you alone. Could you allow up your holiness or anything else that seems other than that? It can be so easy to get into the stories and the thoughts and the explaining and the understanding and proving other than holiness. If there's anything other than your holiness coming up, could you allow it up? And before you get lost in the thoughts, could you ignore the thoughts? Could you feel that energy? Could you feel what it feels like? And could you be letting it go as you feel it? Just ignoring the thoughts, letting go of this energy just by being with it for a moment. That is letting it go. Could you let go of anything other than your holiness and bless the world with that holiness? It's always happening when you recognize it. Would you let go of anything other than your holiness blessing the world? When could you let go and recognize your holiness and its blessing the world? All the time. My holiness blesses the world. And could you open up and allow your holiness to bless everything shining forth? And if anything else came up, any of those old things you remember we were talking about, attack thoughts, these criticisms and condemnations, if anything other than your holiness blessing the world is arising, could you just let it come up? And before you get lost in the story, the thoughts about that, could you, in your holiness, just allow it to come up? Or it can affect you now. Could you let this energy behind these thoughts and stories just run, just for now? And could you surrender and return to holiness and bless the world? Would you surrender the illusion and return to your function as your holiness, blessing the world? For there is nothing your holiness cannot do. Lesson 38. There's nothing my holiness cannot do. Unlimited in its power to heal and save, just saving from illusions. Could you allow this idea, there is nothing my holiness cannot do? And see if you're holding back at all this holiness. Is there anything you are restraining your power from healing or affecting or saving in the world? And that's okay without judging or moralizing about it. Could you just bring whatever energies come up to your holiness to be saved? Could you allow this illusion, this denial of power, just come up for a moment It's just lightness, it's just energy, it's nothing that can affect you, just something that's been held on to. Could you allow it up? And could you, as you allow it up, set it free, release it? Would you set it free and let your holiness do it all? Be unlimited in its power. When could you release any conception otherwise, any limiting energy, and experience there is nothing your holiness cannot do? There is nothing my holiness cannot do. Is that true? Does it seem otherwise? Unlimited in power, your holiness, to save the world. Could you notice any holding back, any denying the power of your holiness and its ability to do anything and everything? Just notice what it feels like to be holding back that infinite power, whatever comes up for you. And could you be turning it over, surrendering it, giving it up? Would you surrender any concept that there's something your holiness cannot do? And when could you surrender the limitations and allow there is nothing your holiness cannot do? It's just a choice. Now, later, matters not. There is nothing your holiness cannot do. My holiness is my salvation. Now, in this holiness, there is nothing to fear. Your holiness is your salvation. Could you notice any sense that there's something to be afraid of? Already saved by your holiness, can you bring up this illusion? It's okay. It's safe right now. Your holiness is your salvation from this. Could you just allow up any misconception, any fear, any illusion that you are not saved already and safe? And could you open up, let that up, and could you let go of any sense of fear? Would you let go of not being safe or saved if you could, and experience your holiness, your salvation? When could you let go? Your holiness already saved you, whatever came up. And my holiness is my salvation. There is nothing to fear, though it might seem like it. It could seem as though there's something that you're not saved from. That's okay. Knowing your holiness is your salvation, could you have the courage to bring up anything that it seems you're not saved from, not safe from, and just bring it to this holiness, just as it is? Any energy, any feeling, you allow it up. And could you release this energy, be saved from it? It's just a choice. Would you release this energy or conception of danger and be saved by your holiness? When could you release and experience your holiness is your salvation? Already done. How quickly any illusion can crumble before the truth of your holiness. It's just a choice. What are you choosing? Would you choose your holiness and bring up anything other than that to be blown away? Your salvation is but a choice. And lesson 40, I am blessed as a son of God. All good things are yours. You cannot suffer because of who you are. Could you notice any time ever that your Father, God, supported you, protected you, and directed you? Have you ever experienced the infinite care your Father has for you? And could you notice any resisting, rejecting, or denying further blessings to you being blessed as a son of God? It's okay. It may seem like it's not coming. Could you just notice any resisting, rejecting, or denying you're blessed as a son of God? Allow that up. And are you willing to let go of that resistance or denial? Could you surrender it? All good things await. Would you surrender, let go of resisting or denying your blessings as a son of God? How you are blessed. When could you let go? And I am blessed as a son of God. Could you notice any resistance, any rejection of the good things, the protection, the infinite care with you forever? Is there any denial, refusal, rejection, or resistance to being blessed as a son of God? It's okay. It happens. Could you just bring it up? Any resistance, any rejection, any denial of your blessings as a son of God. And could you give up resisting your blessings as a son of God? A simple ask. So there may be resistance. It's okay. Yes or no is fine. Would you give up any illusions to the contrary and be blessed as a son of God? Just a choice. When could you release any resistance, any rejection or denial to being blessed as a son of God? I am blessed as a son of God. Could you be with that idea? It's your claim to all good and only good. I am blessed as a son of God. Could you open and allow what that feels like, what that is? I am blessed and as a son of God. All good things are mine because God intended them for me. Could you allow that? Could you let that up? Let that flow? I am blessed as a son of God. I cannot suffer any loss or deprivation or pain because of who I am. Is that possible? Could you let it happen? Could you let it be? I am blessed as a son of God. My Father supports me, protects me, and directs me in all things. Could that be something you accept or love? Could you allow that idea? I am blessed as a son of God. His care for me is infinite and is with me forever. Could you allow that? Welcome that. Embrace that infinite care forever with you. I am blessed as a son of God. I am eternally blessed as his son. Could you be open to more and more blessings? Always there, always here, as a son of God. And it's okay if there's any resistance, just allowing it up and allowing your blessings to save you from any illusion to the contrary, and just returning to what you are, a blessed son of God. Well done releasing, and thank you for watching and letting go as we go through these reviews. We've got two more reviews left, and then we'll get back to the normal one lesson at a time. What have you released? What have you let go of? What have you experienced? What are your results from working with the course, from releasing? Please comment, let us know. And we've got so many more of these sessions coming. It's a 365 lesson workbook. We'll have 365 days of releasing through the Course in Miracles workbook, letting go one lesson at a time to experience what's available for us as we make room for it, as the illusions disappear. Thank you so much and have the best day you can.